it's easier to get someone help when they're in that prodromal phase than when someone's in a full-blown psychotic episode. Once someone reaches a full-blown psychotic episode, it's hard to talk them to getting into an appointment, to see a psychiatrist, to see their primary care doctor, to get into the ER. So it's important for supporters to know what a prodromal phase looks like.
What are the phases of psychosis?
So what happens is we have a lot of different reasons for psychosis, as we discussed, right? The medical, the biological, the psychiatric. But we do see a trend in the way that psychosis manifests. We do see a trend. And it's not 100%, but most of the time we can go back and identify 3 distinct phases of a psychotic presentation. The first phase is what we call a prodromal phase. And prodromal basically means like it didn't really manifest yet, but it's coming. And there are certain behaviors that people notice, usually outsiders, families, loved ones, supporters, notice before the psychotic episode breaks and happens. That prodromal phase is more of a social isolation. It's a change in their daily routines and behavior where they just become a little less interested in what's going on out here and more interested in what's going on up there. They become more internally preoccupied. Internally preoccupied is just a way of saying, right? And less engaged with everyone else. So it's a social withdrawal. So all of a sudden they're not really spending time with anybody. They're in their room or they're on the couch and you can't really engage them in a conversation. They seem sort of internally preoccupied. They're not caring about how they look, the external stuff. You stop kind of caring about everything out here, because this makes sense though if you think about it. If all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but gradually, your mind starts making things different. Maybe some voices, maybe some thoughts, paranoia, maybe there's a delusional content building. You're starting to be removed from reality. That reality becomes less prominent to you, but the internal reality becomes more prominent.
Yes.
Doesn't that make sense?
Absolutely.
So what we see as objective observers, as outsiders is, wow, you know, why haven't they showered in 3 days? They're not really talking to anybody. You know, I mean, what's up? You know, it's like, what's going on? They don't care about the way they look. Do you see that, bro? What's going on, right? But they're not yet manifesting that delusional thought content or seeing things, and now you see that as an outside observer. So that's the prodromal phase.
Now, can someone who has taken a substance go through a prodromal phase?
That's such a super question. You're so on.
All right.
You're so on. Now, usually you see these 3 distinct phases, or the prodromal phase. You usually see that in the psychiatric manifestations and even the biological manifestations, but not so much the substances. I mean, substances are, you know, you take psilocybin, you're flying high in 20 minutes or 30 minutes, right? You're out there. So not really, because it's a substance. It's acting quick and it's going. It's usually, you know, someone has lupus or MS or, you know, a brain disorder of some sort, and they just start withdrawing, right? Because it's that process that just starts to build, that internal process of starting to remove themselves from reality. It's more of a gradual onset, right? Now, I'm not saying that people can't jump right into a psychotic episode, like full blown. That does happen, of course it happens. But you do see this progression. So that's the prodromal phase. And that's important. And you know why it's important? Because you can catch it. You can catch it, and you can say something's not right here. And I'll tell you why. If somebody, it's easier to get someone help when they're in that prodromal phase than when someone's in a full-blown psychotic episode. Once someone reaches a full-blown psychotic episode, and we're going to talk about that next, it's hard to talk them to getting into an appointment, to see a psychiatrist, to see their primary care doctor, to get into the ER.
To even get them to understand what that even means.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're just so removed that now it's just like an emergency. It's like an emergency situation. And you know, God forbid something bad happens, they can hurt themselves or someone else inadvertently or something, right? So it's important for supporters to know what a prodromal phase looks like.
Yes.
Now, when people have schizophrenia or bipolar disorder or major depressive disorder, you can actually become attuned to this. And that's important. Again, for the same reasons, right? Like, oh, I have a psychotic disorder. I know I have schizophrenia. I know I have bipolar mania. You could talk to your loved ones and say, look, if you see me starting to get this way, let me know. I mean, I got to adjust my meds. I got to call my doc. We have to do something. So it's important to identify these things, right? So that's the prodromal phase. Then you have the acute episode. Now, an acute episode you can't miss. I mean, you're not missing an acute psychotic episode. I see it probably every day at my job with somebody. I see a high volume of patients throughout the hospital, and I work emergency psychiatry, and a lot of those patients have acute psychotic episodes. I mean, you can't miss it. I think it's pretty in your face. You have someone that is not making any sense, that is nonlinear in their presentation. Their speech is erratic and loose. They are actively responding to things that are not there.
I fundamentally understand this, but what does that look like?
All right. Okay, ready? So, Kyle, seriously, the producer and the director, before I came here, they planted that seed. They gave me a drink and they planted the seed, and now it's going through my body and it's growing like a plant and it's in my brain. And now I know what you know. And I know you've been in on this the whole time too. I know it. I know that since I was a kid. So I know, I don't even have to tell you this stuff, right? But just seriously, like, I'm not sure what I want to do right now, but you're listening to my thoughts anyway, so it doesn't matter, okay? But seriously, I think I just got to go, right? Okay, so that's like a paranoid delusion, and I believe it.
If you like psychology and learning about mental health and want to learn more while meeting other people who are interested, explore your membership options using the link below this video or visit MedCircle.com.
Hallucinations are, I can't act them out, but in my head, as we're sitting here, there are voices, and they're going, they're either commentating on what I'm doing. You're sitting in the chair right now, you're wearing white pants, and your shoes are brown, and this is what's going on, and you're working for MedCircle right now, and you know what, you look terrible. You're such a terrible person. I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you're doing. It's a voice, a real voice, not thoughts. That's important because we all have thoughts, and we all have to talk to ourselves a little bit in our heads, right? So don't think you're psychotic. This is no different than you hearing my voice right now.
Right.
That's how prominent it is. Okay, so that's an auditory hallucination, right? So that's what psychosis can look like. I mean, there's so many different ways. I could have played that a lot of different ways, but that's like one sort of presentation of what psychosis looks like acutely.
Yeah, and it's clear to the person on the receiving end of that that this person is not grounded to reality.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely. So that's the active phase of psychosis, where they call them the positive symptoms, right? The delusions and hallucinations and all that's just kind of just in your face. Then you have the recovery phase, right? And that is usually once you give them some medicine. And, this is where I am a firm, you know this about me, I am a firm believer in psychotherapy and talk therapy. When someone is having an acute psychotic episode, it's really hard to talk them out of it. So you have to resort to medicines in a lot of cases. And those medicines are antipsychotics. And what they do is they reduce dopamine in the brain, and they reduce those positive symptoms, the delusions, hallucinations, Right?
And again, positive does not mean good in this case.
Does not mean good.
It's
Positive
just a classification.
Classification. Positive being delusions, hallucinations, active things. Negative meaning withdrawn. That's how I want people to understand those two terms.
Yes.
But usually we use medicine, and then that can bring that acute episode, whether it lasted days, weeks, months, hours, brings it down. Okay, so those are the three phases.
Got it. Now, during these phases, if they're in the prodromal phase,
you got
it. Supporters can be as proactive as they can ever be. This is your chance to act, get them in to see a doctor. If they already have a doctor, do a med check. That's your time to strike. If they're in an acute phase, it's an emergency situation. You yourself are not going to talk them out of it. It's time to get them to the ER so that they can be treated by professionals immediately. Now, during the recovery phase, what should supporters be doing or not doing?
I think during the recovery phase, going through a psychotic episode is exhausting, emotionally, physically.
For everyone?
Well, for everyone. I mean, I was just speaking on the patient's behalf, but probably for everyone.
Yeah.
You're right, for everyone. But in order to sort of create an empathetic / sympathetic sort of environment for the patient, I mean, a psychotic episode is just stressful and scary sometimes and exhausting. And after they go through that, you kind of want to just go easy. Go easy. Make sure that you're supportive. There's no judgment. There's no criticism. Make sure that if they're given a medicine, make sure they're following up with that medicine to kind of keep things at bay for a little while. You can always talk about meds later and readjustment and stopping or restart, whatever, but make sure they're taking their medicines. Make sure they're taking care of themselves. Yeah. Make sure they're getting adequate rest and good nutrition. I mean, all the basic foundations of being healthy. Try and support them through that.
Awesome.